You know, I was coming back from Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Moses Malone got on the plane with me. He was in Houston. He was going. He had a girlfriend, I think, in Atlanta, and we sit together the entire time.
Right.
And he basically said Charles Barkley messed up the chemistry. That when Charles got the ball, he wasn't passing to anybody.
It stopped in his hands.
It stopped in his hands.
Maybe
like a black hole.
Maybe that's why Charles, you know, he had a great career, but he doesn't have a championship to show for it.
Right.
Maybe that's the reason why.
Right, but he didn't. It stopped. So that was the end of that. Dr. J wasn't very pleased with it.
No.
He was a person that had character, but when they had all those stars, that they had McGinnis, they had Dr. J, Carwell Jones, Daryl Dawkins.
Well, that was that year they had McGinnis, Daryl Dawkins, Jones. That was the '77 team, I believe, that lost to the Portland Trailblazers.
They lost to Portland.
They were up 2-0, and Portland came back and with Walton and
won all of them.
Won the next 4 games. So they were the super team. They were deemed the super team back in the '70s that never got a championship because they had the 2 superstar forwards and George McGinnis and Julius Erving, and they couldn't get it either.
And there was a fight in one of those games. Mo Lucas went upside Daryl Dawkins' head.
Yeah.
And Daryl wasn't the same the rest of the series.
No, because Daryl had somebody who wasn't afraid to confront him.
Not at all.
Not at all. I mean, that's Luke. That's why Luke was always called the enforcer.
Right.
Because he was a very physical player, and he would stand up to anybody in the league.
Pat Riley coached a lot of people, and after the whole coaching career was over, I mean his planned career and coaching career, he chose you as a assistant. Why you?
Well, timing.
I'm not saying that you. I know you're good. I'm just saying all these players he had.
Well, timing is everything. You know, I look at it as timing. I've had a lot of people ask me that question, and the only thing I can tell them is timing. I went overseas and played, and I came back. The year I came back, I wanted to get into coaching, and Pat had just left New York, and he was going to Miami, and he wanted to get his staff together, and I made myself available. I was one of his players on his first championship team, and you know, he pulled me into his organization, and I've been there ever since. You know, he's taken care of 16 years. I just finished my 16
years
in one team. Yeah.
How did you manage that? I still wonder. You must
know
something, or maybe your personality or something.
Well, it's, you know, I get along with everybody. I do my job, and of course, Pat being in one place the whole time helps the situation. You know, because you know how volatile professional sports are. You know, you're here today, gone tomorrow. But Pat's been stable there. Our owner has a lot of faith in Pat. When Pat got to Miami, he brought a lot of interest back in basketball, because you know the state of Florida is a football state. And when Miami got there, when Pat came, it brought a little bit of Hollywood there. He changed and started getting players. Got Tim Hardaway, got Alonzo Mourning, and we started winning. And the excitement started getting there in basketball, and it's kind of been there ever since.
You had a great career there. I think you won the scoring title how many times?
3.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. They call it the Mac attack.
Yeah, back in the 70s, yeah.
But now my last question, series of questions anyway. What happened this year? If the lockout, if there is no lockout, if there is a lockout, a lot of players are going overseas. They're talking about going overseas. Some have already gone. The guy from New Jersey used to play at Utah. Williams.
Yeah.
But there are some other players that's talking about going. You was overseas in Italy.
Yeah,
How's it playing over there?
It's fantastic. You know, people don't believe it, but I was over there for 6 years, and that was my best block. I enjoyed basketball those 6 years more than I've ever enjoyed basketball my whole life. And the reason was I was in a great country. I was on a great team. We were able to play, you know, we won championships in Italy. We won the European championships. I was able to play all over Europe. And the people that I met over there was just fantastic. It was my best time in basketball that I've ever had in my professional career playing over in Italy.
How did you like that Italian food?
Fantastic. You can't find a bad Italian restaurant in Italy. It's just fantastic.
How do you compare that Italian food to the Olive Garden and places like that?
No comparison.
No comparison.
No comparison.
I know people that's Italian, and they say they say Olive Garden is not an Italian place. That's just some kind of McDonald's.
It's not it's no comparison. You'd have to go to Italy to experience the homemade fresh pastas, the wines, the way the people serve you. You know, it's like a fine art in Italy. You know, going to a restaurant, the way they cook their food and everything. You don't have a lot of sauces and stuff. They don't overdo it. You have to be there to experience it.
The Miami Heat, if there's no lockout, what do you predict them to do?
I expect us to be successful if we can stay healthy like we were last year. Our goal is to win a championship. You know, if we can add players to our team that can help the three guys that are there to help them over the top, hopefully we can win a championship, because, you know, the time is running out on guys. You know, Dwayne is not a young spring chicken anymore. He's 30 years old, and, you know, who knows how long he's going to be able to throw his body around, you know, the way he has in the past. I know LeBron and Chris are a little bit younger, and they want to try to do it while Dwayne is there to help them, because it's no guarantee that you'll be able to get another player of Dwayne's caliber, you know, to replace him if he goes down or he retires or something like that. So it's something we want to try to get done, you know, quickly.
What do you think the Lakers will do this year?
The Lakers,
new coach.
New coach. It's going to be pressure on them to prove themselves. But I think if you looked at the playoffs this year, the way they got beat, they probably want to get a quicker squad because they're big and slow, and they saw that the teams that got to the semifinals and championship round were all speed teams. You know, Chicago Bulls, Miami Heat in the East, Oklahoma City Thunder, Dallas Mavericks in the West. You know what I mean? You got to speed it up. You can't be a half-court orientated team like they were this past year.
And I just wonder, you think Dallas probably come out of the West again?
They're the champions. You gotta, you know, they still got Dirk Nowitzki and company. You know, you gotta look at them as a favorite again for next year.
How do you look at Chicago?
Chicago, anytime you got a team with Derrick Rose on it, you're gonna be tough.
In Boston, they're on the way out.
Boston, they're getting older, but you can't. The big three, they're there. Ray Allen can shoot. Paul Pierce is a tough competitor. Kevin Garnett's going to be there with his ferociousness, and Rajon Rondo is still one of the top point guards in the league.
But Kevin Garnett is getting old. What, he's about 35?
I think so.
He started playing fresh out of high school. The legs ought to be going.
They could be, but you know, with nutrition and physical fitness the way it is now, you know, a guy might be able to play like Kareem did, like Karl Malone did in Utah, you know, like John Stockton. Those guys played a number of years. Like Jason Kidd is for...
he's a marvelous.
Yeah, he's marvelous. I mean, these guys are playing well into 37, 38 years old, and they're having great careers and being very productive.
Okay, I appreciate you stopping by.
Okay.
Freddie Jones, our friend here in Macon, Georgia, who runs Jones Mortuary, is a good friend of yours.
Yeah, we grew up together from the time we were 6 and 7 years old, and we've been friends ever since. You know, every time I get a chance, I'll always stop in Macon to see him, and when we go to play the Hawks, he's always there to support me and receive me and everything.
Can Freddie Jones play basketball?
He used to, not anymore.
I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, thanks for having me.
Best of luck this season.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And we will be right back.